All right, welcome back, computer art students. As you can see, our design is coming to a close here. We're getting pretty close to matching the original. Number 16 is the front sign. Okay, we're going to use the rectangular marquee tool. Well, I'm going to use the shape tool, but you can also use the rectangular marquee tool, the text tool, and then edit, transform, tilt for the and. So let's go back to our design and see what we can do. Now, I've done a couple extra things here that I haven't made tutorials for, but you guys can figure this out and do it on your own. I've added in the dolphins that kind of look like this. There's a dolphins image in there in the folder that you can just put in the background a little bit there. And then I added an outer glow to the dolphins. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So here's a dolphin. No, that's an and. Where's a dolphin? Well, if I hold down Command, figure out where it is. Hold down Command, click on the dolphin, and there it is, right? Dolphin. So you can see how I have an effects, drop shadow, and an outer glow applied. If I click on the outer glow twice, I have some settings here. It's 75 opacity, 25, and then 20 for spread and size. I applied a drop shadow to it as well with these coordinates. So you guys can check that out and apply those same coordinates to it if you want to look yours to look like mine. And I kind of placed those back in there. If we take a look at our example, you can see that there's some kind of thing happening back there, some kind of fin of a creature, so I think we're using dolphins. Okay, I also took and added my swirls and another layer to the swirls to make it look just more dynamic. So I copied the swirl layer, I increased the size, and I placed it back there. I also put a drop shadow on the swirls just to give it a little interest. Okay, so for this tutorial, we're going to make the front sign. So I'm going to start a new document, go to File, New, and we're going to set our resolution at 300 and the width and height to 5.5 or 5 by 5. Here we go. Click OK. To start, what we want to do is use, there's a couple things you can do, is you can create 2 new layers and label them sign 1 and sign 2, and then use the marquee tool to draw them in. But I'm going to use the shape tool, the rectangle tool, okay? And I'm just going to make a shape about the size of the sign here, something like that. Let's just take this and see if the proportions are right. I got the proportions matching okay. Right now my fill color is white. Now what happens is it creates a shape layer in our layers. Palette. We have kind of the mask of the shape and then the color. So if I double click on this color thumbnail, we can put any color in there we want. Let's try to match to the picture. Let's put this off to the side. Let's try to match to this. If we can make this work. All right, let's start again. Okay. Come on, Photoshop. Work with me here. Okay. There we go. That works. So now I want to match this kind of color. So let's get a light. Something similar to that. It looks okay for me. All right. So this is going to be our go forth. Now you guys can put any kind of saying in here you want. I don't care. That's fine. It's your work. Especially for your original. If you want to, if this is for the example that you're just redoing, try to stick as close to the example as possible, but for your original, you can put anything in there you want. Now for the type tool, we're just going to click the type tool and just click in the box or just click off to the side. What happens is it puts a new layer, a type layer in your layers palette, and where'd it go? Cannot see it. Okay, let's try this again. Let's delete. Back to our type tool, check the settings, make sure everything's good. Click once, there we go. I'm just going to write in go forth, all in caps. We can't see it because the fill color is white, but if I click here and I move it up, now I can see it. But now if I have one letter that's not caps, so I need to click back on my type tool and highlight it, make it caps. Now, CS5 does a pretty good job of, with the default settings, is snapping it to the center aligning them to the center. So what we can do is Apple T or Command T and scale this up, hold down Shift and scale this in to make it work. And now the font I have selected is a nice bold, it's a font it is a impact font, regular setting, and here's some other things. So that looks pretty good. I am going to nudge it slightly to try to eyeball it to center the best we can. Okay, for the most part that looks alright. Okay, so let's start our second box. What we can do is, I'm just going to take this shape and duplicate it. Or you can right click. If you're on a PC, right click and duplicate. Move it off to the side. I'm going to also duplicate my T, my go forth, but then I'm just going to name it something different. I'm actually going to move it in, but I'm going to type something else. Highlight it. Educate. Alright. Notice once we apply this, it should change the name of the type. Alright, it should change it there. You can move this aside. I'm going to make one more layer. I'm just going to type off the side. I'm going to type in the word and. Move it over, but I do need to twist it. So I'm going to Command T. Hold down the Shift key on my keyboard and rotate it. Move it in place. I'm going to scale it down so that it fits along this border of the educate. Looks pretty good. I'm going to nudge it slightly up. That looks good. Okay, I want the and the educate to be one. I'm going to select them both by holding down the Shift key, Command E for merge, and now I can move it, scoot it over a little bit, and that works for me. However, I need to change the color to a darker orange on this one. So I'm going to double click here, change it to a darker orange, slide this down, keep it going, something like that. Click OK. Okay, so let's merge some things together. We're pretty much done. We got it the way we want it to look. So let's go forth is going to be with the orange one. So hold down the Command key and select both layers. Command E or layer, merge layers. That's Command E right there. Okay, and now that's one layer. I'm going to hold down the and. Actually, I could type in, sorry, type in, it's just reading the and right now because that's the last type we made. Educate. And then I'm going to select that, hold on the Command key, click on this layer, Command E, and there we have it. So now we have two different layers only. Okay, now we can move them around wherever we want. Let's rip this off of here. And I'm just going to click and drag this over. Okay, if you get this window that pops up, it's just a warning about quality because it's a different kind of depth in the source document. So just click on yes, it's fine. It's going to show up, and it's really clear. I don't know why it's giving me that. It's not a problem. So go forth, drag this over, click yes. Put them in place. Of course, you know, they're kind of tucked back behind everything, so now you got to go all the way down and find them. I'm going to select them both and move them way up to the top because that's where we want to put them, way up there at the top of the layers. Okay, way up there. All right. I've already made one. I've already done some stuff to it, so I'm going to close the eyes down on these ones and open the ones that I showed you. So what I did is I placed them, I turned them, and I placed them in where I wanted them to. Okay, so let's go back to the ones. Go forth, I went over here, Command T, twist it slightly to match it with the example, size it down. Okay, click on the and educate, Command T, rotate, move it slightly ahead. I think that one's gotta go in front. Scale it down slightly. And we're going to move this above. Not too shabby. Last thing, we can add a little drop shadow to these. So double click on and educate. I'm going to click on drop shadow. And increase the distance slightly in the spread and then the size. Give a nice drop shadow. And the coordinates, again, for those are in my example here, but you can get it to however you like it. Click OK. Double click on go forth. So what happens is you'd have to double click in the space. Don't double click on the word. Double click in the space right here to select the layer style. Or you can also go down to FX. That works too. Okay, so drop shadow, increase the depth, increase the spread and the size. Pretty good. Click OK. Last but not least, we just want to burn these a little bit. So with the burn tool, what's going to happen with the burn tool is over here on the toolbar, we have a dodge, burn, and the sponge tool. What the burn tool does is it darkens all the pixels. It makes everything darker. The dodge tool will lighten all the pixels. I'm going to increase the size of my brush. And we're going to apply this to the highlights. So on the go forth, I'm just going to hit some of these edges right in here, and you can see how it's darkening up, kind of creating a little shadow effect, so to speak, there. Okay, just give it a little interest, and then educate. I'm going to increase the size of my brush a little more, and then hit that up with the burn tool. Voila. All right, so here's my first ones. Kind of like those better. Here's the ones I just made. Okay. Good luck, guys, with the sign.